Now we are going to start our new chapter number 5 from standard 9. So the chapter name is Introduction of Euclid Geometry. So Euclid, that is one kind of the mathematician, clear? And you are also familiar with this word geometry. We have the number of chapter that is dependent on the geometry. So before we are starting the introduction, first of all we are starting with the some definition or some of the important points which you already learned in your previous standard. So we are starting with the point. So if we draw this is our point, clear? So this is point. So point means what? Which has no part. Clear? Point means which hasn't any part. Second, a line. Line is a breathless length. So we can draw the line. So this is AB. Sometimes it is called L. Clear? So it means what? It having the infinite length both side. Third point, the end of line are a points. So end of line are a points. Clear? Now fourth point, straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself. So this line lies on these 2 points. Clear? This line is lie on these 2 points, and we can refer the line by using this symbol. Clear? We are using the AB line, or sometimes we can also call line L. Clear? Line L. We can also declare it is line L, like that. So what is it? So here we have one difference. What is the difference between line and line segment? So line means what? It has the endless length, and line segment means what? So it is a part of the line. Clear? Line segment means what? It is a part of a line. Now next, surface. Suppose this is our duster, or we can also take the one book. So see that book. So it having the 2 surface. Clear? This book having the 2 surface, length and breadth. So surface means what? If it having the length and breadth, so we can declare this. We can declare that it is a surface. So surface is that which has a length and breadth. Clear? So it having the length and breadth, so we can declare it is a surface. Now edges of a surface are a line. So see that once again we can take that book. So this is a surface. Clear? This is a front face of the book. So this is a surface. So see that this is a line. Once again line, line, line. Clear? So its boundary refer as a line. Sometimes it is also called edges. Now last point, a plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with on the straight line on itself. So see that. Clear? So this is a plane figure. So this is a plane figure. So we can say that what? If you in the plane surface, so it lines, it is depend on the line. Clear? By joining these all, so we can by joining these all line, we can make the surface. Clear? So this is the sum point or definition, which is we already learned in the previous standard. So you can write down in your fair book also. We can also give it in your homework. Now we are going to our next topic. So Euclid give the 2 things. Clear? Euclid assume the certain property, and these are not proved. So this is the universal truth. So Euclid give the sum of the properties, but which we haven't the proof for that. But it is a one kind of universal truth. Like sun rises in the east, so it is a universal truth. Clear? We cannot prove that it always rises in the east, but it is a universal truth. So same, Euclid also give the sum of the property which haven't proved, but it is a universal truth. So it means what? Euclid divide its certain assumption on 2 different things. Which one? First of all, axioms and second it is the postulate. Clear? Axioms and postulates. So some of the points. So what is the axioms? Axiom means what? It is a common notions. Clear? It is a common notions. So what are the common notions? So I can write the sum of the points for common notions. Like first, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to the one another. Suppose we can take the two books. See that, two books. Here, so these two books have, see that, the things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. So if this book, so if we are taking the one more book from the standard 9, so both have a same. Clear? So it means what? Both are equal to each other. Next, if equal are added to equals, then the wholes are equal. So it means what? Suppose we have two books. Clear? And I am joining this book. So it means what? Equal. Suppose this book size and this book size are equal, and if we are joining, so it means what? Equal plus equal. Next, third, equal are subtracted from the equal, the remainder are equal. Suppose we can divide this book into the two parts. So it means what? Equal are divided into the two equal parts. Then fourth, things which are consonant with the one another equal to the one another. So means if both shape are a same, so we can declare that these both are equal. Fifth, the whole is greater than the part. Clear? So all things are greater than that part. Then things which are double of the same thing are equal to the one another. Suppose we want to make the double, so we can take the one more book, and if we are joining these two books, so it means what? Equal plus equal. Clear? So it is double. Clear? It is double. And things which are the half of the same things are equal to the one another. Suppose we have the two part of this. So we have a two part, and if I am joining these two parts, so means it will the only one book. So two equal parts make the one more equal parts. Clear? So these are called what? Common notion. So it is also called axioms. And we have one axiom in our chapter number 5. So I can already write down the axioms. Given the two distinct points, there is a unique line which is passed through them. Suppose we have a 2 points. Suppose point P and point Q. So we can draw the number of line from that point, infinite. Clear? We can draw the infinite line from these 2 points. And if we are joining these two, so we can, if we join these two, so we can make the line. We have one more line. So it means what? There is a unique line that passes through them if we have a 2 points. Here if we have the two different distinct points, so there is a one unique line which is passed from those 2 points. So it is our axiom 5.1. Now second part, Euclid divide that certain things or assumption into two different parts. We can already see the axioms. Now we can see postulate. So what is postulate? Postulate means what? Assumption for a specific geometry. Clear? So if we so it is not applicable for a geometry, and this part it is applicable for a specific geometry. So this is the assumption for a geometry. So what are the assumption? Suppose they are giving the 5 postulate. First postulate, a straight line may be drawn from any one point to the another point. Suppose we have 1 and 2 points, so we can draw the line. Clear? So straight line may be drawn from one point to the any other point. So it is universal truth. Clear? Second, postulate second, a terminated line can be produced infinitely. See that terminated line. We can also read this line, so it is infinite. Third, circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Suppose we have in the center, we can take any of the center and we can take any of the radius. Clear? 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter, and we can take any of the point on this board. Postulate 4, all right angle are equal to the one another. So if we are taking a right angle, so these both are equal to each other because right angle have an always making 90 degree. Clear? So if we have the 5 right angle, so it means what? All are same. Now last, a straight line falling on the 2 straight lines. See that this is a straight line which is falling to another line. Make the interior angle. See that. So these are called interior angles. These two on the same side. So this is the same side, left hand side of taken together less than the 2 right angles. So these both angle are always less than the right angle. Then the 2 straight lines, if produce a infinitely meet on that side on which the sum of the angle is less than the 2 right angle. It means what? The sum of these 2 angle are always less than the right angle. So it is our postulate number 5. And last thing of that chapter before we are going to start our exercise number 5.1. So this is the last thing, our theorem number 5.1. So we have only the statement and proof that will be made on the assumption. So you need to remember that only the theorem statement. So what is its statement? 2 distinct line cannot have a more than 1 point in a common. Clear? So if we have under 2 line, so they have only one common point like that. See that. So 2 line have only 1 point. Clear? They have the not more than the 1 point in a common. Exercise 5.1. Which of the following statement are true or false? Give the reason for your answer. So first, only one line can pass through the single point. So here we can see that if we have the single point, so we can draw the infinite line pass from them. So it is false. Clear? First statement is false. Here how can we rewrite? Infinite line can be passed through a single pass through from the single point. Clear? So first statement it is false. Second, there are the infinite number of line which pass through the 2 distinct points. So here we have if we have the 2 different points. So here what we can see, so it is P and Q. So it is actually our axiom 5.1. Clear? It is our axiom 5.1. So this is the false statement. Clear? Because there are the infinite number of line which pass through the 2 distinct points. So we can rewrite from axiom 5.1. Clear? So it is false statement. Next, terminated line can be produced infinite on the both side. It is true. Clear? Terminated line we can draw like that. So it means what? It is actually our postulate 2. Clear? So it is the true statement. Now fourth, if 2 circles are equal, then the radius are also equal. Yes, because if we are taking the 5 centimeter radius, and second once again we have the 5 centimeter radius. So it means what? If 2 circles are same, so this radius are also same. Clear? So it is true. So this statement is true. Now next, in figure 5.9, AB is equal to PQ. So suppose it is 5 centimeter, so it is also 5 centimeter. And PQ is equal to XY. So PQ is already 5. Clear? So XY is also 5. So it means what? AB is equal to XY. Yes, AB is 5 and XY is also 5. So this is also true. Clear? So this is also true statement. Now we are going to our next question, definition. Clear? So first definition, parallel line. You are also familiar with the parallel line. Two lines having a no common point. We can draw like that, parallel line. Like track of railway. Clear? They are not intersect at any point. So it is called what? Parallel lines. Second definition, perpendicular lines. two lines which form an angle 90 degree like that. So it form a 90 degree angle. Suppose this is a P line and this is a Q line. So this form an angle of 90 degree to each other. So it is called what? Perpendicular lines. Now line segment. So line which have a two end points. Suppose here. So it is a line segment P and Q. So it is a terminated line. It is also called terminated line. Clear? Line segment means what? It is also called a terminated line. Now radius of a circle. The line segment from a center of a circle to the circle is called radius. Clear? So it is called a radius. Next, square. So quadrilateral which have all sides and all sides are equal and all angle are 90 degree. So all sides are same. See that 2, 2, 2, 2 and all are creating the 90 degree angle. Clear? So it is called what? Square. So this is the definition. Now we are going to our next question, question number 3. Consider the two postules given below. First, given any two distinct points A and B, there exit a third point C which is lies in between A and B. It means what? We have one line A and B point and this is the C. So it is between A and B. The first situation is clear. Now second, there exit at least the 3 points that are not on the same line. So if it is here, suppose A, B and C, A, B and C, so it is not on the same line. And second situation, either it is creating the straight line. So do this postule contain any undefined terms? So yes, these are the several undefined terms. And second, are these postulates consist means they are related to each other? These two postules are related to each other. And last, do they following the Euclid postules explain? So the answer is like that. There are the several undefined terms which should be listed below, and they are coincident, they are related to each other. How they are related to each other? See that first postule say that what? Given 2 point AB, there is a C, this is point C lying on the line between them. So it means what? A and B. So C is lying between A and B. And second, A and B, do you have take a C not on the line through AB? So second situation is what? This is not a between A and B. So it means what? They do not follow the Euclid postulates. So we haven't any postulate in which Euclid say that this kind of the theory. Yes, but it is we can also say that it is from axiom 5.1. Clear? They are these postulates are related to the axiom 5.1. Now question number 4. If a point lies between 2 points A and B such that AC is equal to BC, means what? These measurement and these measurement both are same. Suppose it is 4, so it is also 4. So prove that AC is equal to 1 by 2 AB. So first of all we can draw the line AB and C is between AB. So it is given AC is equal to BC. See that it is given AC is equal to BC. Now we can add AC both sides. See that AC and AC we can add both sides because we have an axiom like that, equal are added to the equal. We can add both sides the same part. So 2AC and AC plus BC, AC plus BC, so it is all AB. Clear? AC plus BC is equal to, we can write AB. Now these two is going second side, so it will be in division. So AC is equal to what? 1 by 2 AB, so it is proved. Clear? It is proved. Question number 5. In question 4, see it is called a midpoint of a line segment AB. Then prove that every line has the one and only one midpoint. So if we are drawing any of the line, suppose we can give its name AB. So it have only one midpoint. Clear? Every line have only one midpoint. So we can prove that. So first of all, we can draw the line and we can take C is its midpoint. So according to question 4, we can write like that. We can already prove in question 4 AC is equal to 1 by 2 AB. And we can draw the one more line. We can give it same name AB. And here we can take D is its midpoint. So we can also write like that, AD is equal to 1 by 2 AB. Now compare these two. So right hand side of the both will be same. So it means what? Left hand side will be automatically same. Clear? So it means what? Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to the one another. Clear? So these both are one. So it means what? It is possible only C and D are coincident with each other. So they are both related to each other. So we can say that point C is a unique and any of the line have only and only one midpoint. Now in question 6, figure is given. See that AC is equal to BD. AC, so this part and this part are equal. So prove that AB is equal to CD. We need to prove that AB is equal to CD. So it means what? This is a common part BC. So first of all we are starting from here. It is given AC is equal to BD. From AC we can subtract BC. And from BD we can also subtract BC. Because we have one axiom like that, equal are subtracted from equal, the remainder are also equal. So we can subtract BC from both sides. So if AC minus BC, so AC minus BC, so answer it is AB. So we can write AB. BD minus BC, BD minus BC, so answer it is CD. So it is proved AB is equal to CD. Now in question 7, why is axiom phi in the list of Euclid axioms? Consider a unique truth. So axiom phi what? The whole is greater than the part. So it means what? This is true for anything in any part of the world. So this is called what? Universal truth. So now exercise 5.1 is over. Now we are going to our next topic. So we have only one statement, equivalent version of a Euclid fifth postulates. So what is Euclid fifth postulates? It is we can also write like that, two distinct intersecting line cannot parallel to each other. So if two lines are intersecting, so they are not parallel, and if they are parallel, so they are not intersecting. So it is a second version of the Euclid fifth postulate. We can also write like that. See that this question in exercise 5.2, question number 1. How would you rewrite the Euclid fifth postulate so that we can easily understand? So we can also write like that, if two lines intersect the third line, two lines intersect the third line in a such a way that the sum of interior angle is less than 180. So if we add these both angles, so if it is less than 180 degree, then we can say that what? The two lines intersect each other. So these two lines are intersect to each other. Clear? So that is the second version of Euclid fifth postulates. Now next, does the Euclid fifth postulate imply the existence of the parallel also? We can already declare that. Clear? The two distinct intersecting line cannot be parallel to the same line. They are not parallel to the same line if they are intersecting. So we can also rewrite like that. Fifth postulate implies the existence of parallel because two lines intersect the third line in a such a way that the sum of the interior angle are less than 180. Then the two lines intersect to each other. If it is this interior is less than 180, then they are intersecting to each other. And if the sum of interior angle is exactly the 180 degree, then the line do not intersect. If this is exactly the 180 degree, then these both lines are parallel to each other. So our chapter number 5 is over.